Hey everybody, iMagic here, and BANLIST season is lingering around the corner. So today we're going to go over a BANLIST prediction video. So what I think should and what I think will be banned, limited, semi-limited and unlimited, and we'll talk about the whole reasons why. But before we get into the video, guys, make sure you like, comment down below what you want to see in the next video, share the video and subscribe. But let's get right into the BANLIST prediction. Starting off with the bans. So the very first one is a big obvious one: Artifact Scythe. This should be banned. It is obscenely broken. It is kind of enabling decks that can just make 2 or 3 monsters to link climb to make Artifact, Dagda, and then into Scythe. Engines have been made to just strictly cheese this out, and it's so much more easy with the Brave package as well in a lot of decks. That is just very unfair and very one-sided. It's reminding me of True King, Armageddon, Utopic Zexal kind of era, where you just lock out your opponent from a very key part of summoning, and it's just incredibly unfair. It is very unfair, and it just needs to be banned. It's one of them. It's been going around for long enough. It's just something we do not like. 60 card El Lich really abuses it with the whole Scythe climb with Dotscaper or Cybers Gadget into the Link Disciple, Link Devotee, Tribute to kind of get extra tokens and then just climb up, and it's really powerful like that. But yeah, any deck that can kind of just make a couple monsters on the board to then go into DPE, obscenely broken. But yeah, Scythe really should just get hit, because it's just, no one's enjoying it and everyone just wants it gone. The second one that I believe should be getting hit, well, I don't think it should be getting hit, however I can understand why, and it probably will, is Vertex Anaconda. I don't want Vertex to be banned, but I know a lot of people do. Vertex, in its own right, is going to be banned because it is obscene. So it's very strictly going to be a matter of, because if you can just have 2, you power through your opponent's hand traps, cool, you're left with just 2 monsters, Vertex into a Dragoon, Vertex into a DPE, Vertex into a Mirror Jade. So it's one of them. Vertex is just kind of obscenely, at the end of your combo, you still bring out a boss monster no matter what happens. So it is a bit of a, a cheesy last minute ditch effort. Do I actually think it will get banned? I know there's a big ask for it, but there's been a big ask for a long time. But they have just introduced the new branded archetype, so the new support included Branded Fusion, which this card does help. So are Konami going to affect a card that strongly helps fusions in a time of fusion summoning being very rife and new financially for them? It's hard to tell. But Vertex, strictly because it goes into the DPE and helps with the Scythe lock as well, and it, like I said, it's just a cheesy way to get stuff out, it should kind of get hit. I will add, if Vertex doesn't get hit, an acceptable hit I do believe, just to mainly hit the DPE side of all of this, because this is really what it's here for, is because Fusion Destiny DPE. If they don't hit Vertex, for the reasons I've just said, because they don't want to affect sales because of a high fusion stuff going on right now, Celestial. I would strongly back Celestial getting banned, because on top of everything else, the next turn you get a free Pot of Greed. It is one of them, just like, that's just the cherry on top that didn't need to be there. DPE is a boss monster. Dasher that you send is a good effect if you do decide to, if you do pull it off, if you top deck the nuts and it's a monster and you can save yourself a normal summon, that's a special summon, and he helps you just get into combos a lot easier. Celestial didn't need to be, it doesn't need to be there. It's one of them. It is obscenely broken, so I do think we could kind of ditch Celestial, put another Destiny hero in the package for other people to use, like Draw Hand maybe, where it's like a one and done, but it gets both your opponents. But yeah, Celestial would be the best ban if they don't hit Vertex, strictly to hit the DPE stuff. But yeah, that's what I really do think for kind of that talk of like the ban stuff. But yeah, so definitely Celestial, that should be kind of like banned if Vertex doesn't get banned. And that's kind of all my bans in a nutshell. Scythe, Vertex, or if not Vertex, Celestial. One of them, 2, and definitely Scythe should be banned in the next ban list. Going into the limits, so I've got a handful of limits that I do definitely think should be slapped to 1. Most of them are reduced down from what they are, and there's one that I want to unban. I've been saying it for a long time. Let's start with the unbanning one. I want to go with Harp Horror. Just bring it back. August isn't doing anything. Just give them back. They're just a really good monster. It might be a good rogue deck that you see popping about, but it's not going to affect the format in either way. I strongly believe Harp Horror can just go to 1. Just give Orcus back the 1. I have an Orcus deck. I want to try it with Harp Horror. It's not like I'm saying Nightmare Mermaid because that is obscene. But yeah, just do Harp Horror. Just, you know, let Orcus players have their fun. You can do it with Salamandra. It hasn't had a huge impact. You can do it with Harp Horror. So 100% Harp Horror should be going to 1. Now, the cards I think that I should be reduced down from 3 to 1. Firstly, I'm going to go with Taunt Scales. PK Brave is a broken deck. Okay, it is really powerful. It can power through a lot of stuff. Having multiple pop interactions, multiple negates, and you know, it's just a really, really tough deck to kind of deal with. Plus the Brave on top of that. Taunt Scales is a really, really powerful extender card, and it's just really broken. And you can just constantly keep it in the loop with like Levier and just the rest of the PK package. So I do kind of think it's one of them. If you see it, you see it, or you have to waste your resources to find it to help you have a boost. But at least it kind of puts a dome over the potential of what PK can do. I don't really think PK will lose out too much. Don't get me wrong, Taunt Scales is a broken card, but I don't think it will go. I don't think it will be like a dead deck. But I do definitely think Taunt Scales should be going to 1 because it is an obscene card, and PK Brave is a meta deck right now. So I think if they're going to have their deck kind of curbed, like the rest of the decks probably are going to get curbed, yeah, that should be kind of like a main thing there. Another one I definitely think should be going to 1, Howkey Firebrex. Mainly because of like Worm Synchro, 10-Yi Synchro, the Sword Soul 10-Yi Synchro climbing decks are abusing the fact that they can play more than 1 Howkey Firebrex. And they, you know, it comes up a lot where the first one will probably be wasted because it's either a really good bait for a negate, they'll leave it to then go into a shooting Riser Dragon on the next turn, kind of set themselves up, but they then will use a second Howkey Firebrex. So I kind of think every other deck in the format that can play Howkey Firebrex is only playing it at 1 because that's all they need. And I do kind of think, like, if there's now decks that start to think I can play more than 1 as they climb up, it should be limited. Howkey Firebrex is an obscene card. I don't think it's obscene enough to just ban it straight because it is just a really good help for any synchro based deck. It's just a generic link. But like I said, it should go to 1 because like everyone was kind of in a gentleman's agreement where if Howkey Firebrex is at 1, it wouldn't affect the format because 3 and 1 is the exact same because everyone only ever played 1. So we were like, okay, everyone's only ever playing 1, so it's not like there's one deck that's now taking advantage of this too much than any other. But now there's a deck that's kind of appearing that's taking advantage of it. I think it should be nipped in the bud, limited to 1 straight away. Another hit really for Sword Soul as well. I do kind of think Yi should go to 1. It is an obscene card, helping your combos start off and then kind of just refueling your hand as well is bonkers. So yeah, like Sword Soul, it is kind of doing stuff in the meta right now, but it's not kicking ass at the top. But it's been around long enough that the ace and the whole Yi should kind of now get chipped down to 1. It is a kind of sacky deck as well. With all the burning that goes on. Don't get me wrong, so is Branded Despia with, you know, chip away 600 every time you want to just like look at a card. But yeah, any deck that kind of just has built-in just burn like that can just kind of cheese a game free, win on time because of damage, yeah, they deserve to lose the ace monster. Yeah, I have no change in what I'm thinking there, just yeah, get rid of it. But yeah, 100% Yi. Yeah, Yi just, you know, it is a broken card. They can still play the deck, you know, the whole 10-Yi stuff is still like in there, the whole worm area. But yeah, the fact that it just allows you to get draws and yeah, what it can facilitate is kind of just broken. So yeah, 100% I do kind of think Yi should go to 1 as well because Sword Soul have had their boss monster for long enough. Now let's chip them down and get new decks in. The last card I think should be limited, just because I want to be fair and kind of hit everything in the meta. EGlin, Flew Under Ease EGlin. It's kind of one of the best small monster, so it's a good way to kind of hit the consistency of that deck. It's a tough one. I don't know Flew Under Ease too well, but I do know they are broken, and they're kind of like anti-meta meta, because they are constantly normal summoning, they're constantly tributing what you have for normal summons against something like, what am I thinking of here? Against something like Branded, or saying like Shadow, you make the Winder, nah, do not care, I'm normal summoning. You could just put a good monster on the field, cool, I'm tributing it for my summon. So yeah, it is really kind of, it's a really good deck, do not get me wrong. And I think EGlin is a good way to kind of start curbing the power on said deck. There is ways around the whole deck, and a lot of people are purposely siding around it. A lot of people are making sure they have Zombie World and Banshee if they can run that. Artifact Lancia is like a staple main deck hand trap, so it isn't like we're not ready for this deck, and it's not like it's like obscenely dominating. It's been there in like the number 2 or 3 spot for a very long time as new number 1 decks kind of take control. So it's not like a challenging competitor, but I think EGlin is a good way to kind of reduce down the monsters they have, because they just need so many monsters to kind of get the ball rolling, and it's the best like I said normal summon that they have. That is, you know, again a bit like Salto and Moyi, chip them down a peg, really good for the consistency, just to lower it down a little bit, but you still give them a very powerful deck still. So that's why all the cards I just mentioned should be at 1, apart from Harp Horror, just bring it back, I miss it. Going into the semi-limits, it's very short this one. So firstly, I think Astroglyph Sorcerer. They limited it, it didn't do anything, so I really do think Astroglyph Sorcerer can just go to 2, it's not going to affect it, just do the progressive climb of going to 2 to then 3, it won't change the meta in any way, shape or form. So yeah, Astroglyph Sorcerer, I put it to 2, it's not really going to change anything. Another one I definitely believe can go to 2 is Salamandra Gazelle. They've put Circle to 2, and it didn't change anything. I think they could put Gazelle to 2 as well, and it definitely won't change the meta. Salad will just be that rogue deck, but it hasn't got enough oomph, and as consistent as it is, and even more consistent and hyper consistent it will be with the Circles and the Gazelles, it won't be able to catch up. It's unfortunate because Salamandra is a fan favourite deck, it's one that I kind of piloted in its heyday, but it's not going to be able to catch up with the current meta. Yes, people might think, oh, what about the new Decode Heat Soul or anything like any of the new Cyber support? No, Salamandra had its moment, now it's just a really good rogue deck that people can say used to be a really good deck way back. It is a shame, it is a good deck, it's one of my favourite decks still, because it's just a really just jack of all trades, you know, toolbox deck that you can kind of get into. But it's not, even with 3 and 3, I do not think it's going to be able to like rival the meta decks of right now. It might have some representation, like in a top cut, but it's definitely not going to be the winner. Yeah, there's going to have to be a miracle for Salads to kind of just get up there again, but it isn't going to happen. So I really think we can start being like more loose on the ban list for Salamandra. So 100% put Gazelle to 2. You know, it might as well. And another one I definitely think should go to 2 is Called by the Grave. Konami limited it just so they could get out cross-out designators, but now they've made their money from that, I definitely think put Called by to 2. You know, I understand they like doing their slow filtering of cards, and they might put it to 2 to see if people are playing 2 cross-out, 2 Called by. Doubt it, but people are going to miss Called by the Grave, are missing Called by the Grave. Don't get me wrong, cross-out designator is a really good card. And if I could find room, I'd put it in there with 2 Called by the Grave, but I want the 2 Called by the Grave first. And yeah, just bring it back. You limited it for money, Konami, but now you've made your money, just bring it back to the people so we can play our lovely Called by the Grave again. But that's my semi-limiteds, guys. Gazelle, Astroglyph Sorcerer, Called by the Grave, they should definitely be put to 2. I don't think it'll change the meta, but it's more of a progression of then hopefully going to 3. And finally, the Unlimits, 3 cards that I do think should go to 3. Salamandra Circle, it went to 2, it's not doing anything, put it to 3. Just give us our Circle. It's one of them, this isn't like what I want, this is kind of obvious, the way they've been doing the previous ban list as well. Anything that goes from randomly to 2 is going to go to 3 in the next list, so Salamandra Circle definitely is going to go to 3. Hero Lives, that is going to be another one that goes to 3. It got semi-limited in the last ban list. I don't think heroes have been kind of arising too much, apart from Phoenix and Forza being everywhere. Heroes hasn't been kind of arising from the depths, and I think this would be a nice, good little kind of consistency booster for heroes. And there's nothing funnier than ashing a Hero Lives. And finally, the third card I'm definitely thinking go to 3, Scapegoat. It's, yeah, just put it to 3. It's a good wall. It can help stall decks, but it's not going to be breaking the meta. And again, was semi-limited in the last ban list. That's kind of my ban list prediction, guys. Tell me what you think I may have missed out on, what you think I should have mentioned. You know. No, the Brave stuff is not getting banned. Everyone out there is thinking Brave is going to get banned. Let me tell you this now. If you think Brave is going to get banned, you're a dumbass because it's too new and it's making Konami too much money. If you think Brave's going to get banned, then you definitely haven't been playing Yu-Gi-Oh long enough to understand how the ban list works, and it's to make them money. So Brave will not get touched. Trust me, it will not get hit. It is too new, so people skanking that Brave is going to have something limited like Water Enchanters or Rite of Azmir, or maybe semi-limited just to kind of touch it a little bit. No, it will not. When Sword Soul was an obscenely broken deck with Arch Nemesis Protoss saying you can't play the game, they didn't touch a single thing for Sword Soul, they just banned Protoss because that was an old card. They're not going to touch the new cards that are still making them money. Next ban list after this, you know what, it wouldn't surprise me if maybe one thing got limited. But right now, Brave is fine. That's my ban list prediction, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Comment down below what you think I missed. Subscribe, share the video, and peace.